Welcome to Pagan Coffee Talk. If you enjoy our content, please consider donating and following our socials. Now, here are your hosts, Lady Alba and Lord Knight.
Hey, Lord Knight.
Hi.
I have a question for you.
I got an answer.
Okay. No, you don't. But I'm going to ask the question anyway.
Yeah, I do.
Which tradition is right?
Mine.
Oh. Okay.
For me.
Wow, you're fun. All right. Well, explain. What do you mean by that?
Well, it's just right for me.
But what do you mean by right? Like, I mean, because when I pose that question, right, most people think right, like big picture, morally, right, wrong, all-encompassing.
No, I think religion and beliefs should make you want to try to grow spiritually, grow as a person, want to do better, want to be nicer.
Okay.
Well, maybe not nicer, but...
So you are saying that right is not about the external,
No.
but the internal.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
As far as it comes with religion and traditions, yes.
Okay. I remember as a neophyte posing a very, what I thought, because, neophyte, I was like, let's play Stump the Priest.
It happens.
Thought I was a smarty pants. I said, hey, so if you die and you go to something that resembles heaven and or St. Peter turns out to be there and looks at you and says, you got it all wrong. None of this shit was accurate. What would you say to him?
Oops. I'm only human.
What you said to me, and it was funny, because I remember it, because it was kind of a big deal. You said I would just look at him and go, I did what I thought was right.
I did.
Yeah, I did my best. Yep. And if that's not a good enough answer, well, fuck. I mean, what else can we do?
Exactly.
Yeah. There really isn't a big, this idea of right and wrong, on the huge scale, it's crap. I will fully admit any day of the week, I could absolutely be wrong.
Yeah.
But so could every other religion on the face of the planet.
Exactly.
We could all be completely, totally wrong.
Utterly wrong.
Yep.
And the one people that had it right died out long time ago from chickenpox.
Sure. Or it could be that all of us are right, and it's one big amalgamation of these ideas. But yeah, the idea of a supreme right or wrong and a certain way and what we have to do so that when we die, we fulfill some kind... No.
I've always found it hard to believe that at the end of it, you're going to go to heaven and it's only going to be filled with people just like you. That what is that?
Right.
The joke, shh, be quiet. There's the Methodist.
Right.
They think they're
the... Right. I mean... shit. Well, there's something to be said for... afterlife concepts are not really where it ends. And yet a lot of faiths, or at least we don't think so, right? But a lot of faiths see it that way. Like, that's the end game. Why? You're alive now.
Should not be.
You're here for such a short amount of time. Like, yeah.
Well, and then even then, yes, to some extent, what society says is right is pretty much made up anyway.
Yeah, everything is. Everything, I mean, look, the only reason that the color blue is the color blue is because that's what somebody named it. In an alternate reality, what we call blue is purple.
Actually, it was green.
You get what I'm saying. Like, whatever,
Yeah.
No,
actually, blue used to be considered a form of green.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't know that.
Blue, at one point in history, YouTube, go figure.
Yeah, okay.
Blue did the concept of blue did not exist.
Huh. Okay.
The sky was just a shade of green.
Wow. Wild. Yeah. But see, there you go. We define everything. We define things that don't need to be defined. But that's, what we call a pursuit of knowledge also.
Yeah.
But we are also excessively preoccupied with who's right and who's wrong. Politics, religions, cultures.
Well, I mean, our whole court, technically everybody thinks our court system's set up to determine who's wrong and who's right.
Yeah.
But the truth is, that's not even where in the world they go half the time.
No. I mean, the thing is, who set those standards? In every situation, it's different. And so I think in craft, one of the things that we strive to teach people is that it's up to you. Your moral compass and my moral compass do not have to be identical.
No.
But as long as you're true to yours, you're fine.
Now, would you say to have a community, your ethics at least need to be 90%?
I would say that moral compass has to align as a group in the moment.
Well, see, I see morals as a personal thing, where the ethics is more of a society.
I sort of use the words interchangeably, but I gotcha. But in the moment, when everybody's together, you have to line up.
Yes.
But the minute you call break, that's it. It's over. Like, disband. Everybody can go back to doing their own shit. Within reason, of course. It's not an excuse to murder people. But what was the Egyptian, the weighing? It was the weight of your heart.
Hard against that of a feather.
Right.
If your heart was heavy, you were full of sin.
Which was an interesting concept, because really, if we pick that apart, what are they saying?
And it's really guilt.
Yeah.
How much guilt do you have?
Right. The Egyptians didn't really look at sin.
For a psychopath, it would always be light.
Exactly. But yet, that's what's really wild,
Right.
But guilt is also an interesting thing unto itself, right? We're not fans of it.
No.
But the idea is someone who feels guilt over anything, or who has, again, that moral compass to recognize, well, that didn't make me feel good.
Well, no, we both had moms. Trust me, we know what it's like to be put onto that guilt trip.
True.
All right? That guilt does weigh on you. It does feel heavy.
Yeah.
So my question is how moral are you if you don't feel that guilt? I'm saying that you need to carry it around like a badge of honor or feel it all the time.
Some people do, though. I'm seriously, oh my God, culturally, that is a thing. I just look at, Italians, Jews, oh my gosh, some other European countries, Asian, certain Asian cultures, to carry that weight
All the time.
And to be repentant of it all the time is
that just sounds exhausting.
It is. Oh my God, is it ever? It is exhausting, and it's painful, and it wreaks havoc on your body and on your mind, and yet they feel that is necessary to show God that they are both sorry and that they have learned from that.
Then where does this need that we must torture or defame ourselves for our gods? Not us. I can't see any pagan doing that. But
the gods were not always. It's so funny because I always crack up. Again, to me, it's the difference between like if we look at the North and South.
Right.
Just the geography of us.
Yeah.
It's like, to me, the North is Old Testament and the South is New Testament. Because I come down here and people are like, God is good and he's merciful and you hear when Baptists talk about God, he is the coolest dude on the planet, and he's loving, and he's awesome, and he's kind. And do you remember in the movie Dogma when George Carlin, it was Buddy
God.
Christ. Buddy Christ. And he had his little finger guns, and he was like the good guy. Yeah, like it was so great. I think I had a Buddy Christ figure at one point.
Best movie ever.
Oh my God, Dogma is amazing. If you've never watched it, watch Dogma. And so, like, Kevin Smith should have won an Oscar for that.
Oh God.
So that's, yeah, how I think people view it here. Up north, God is this vengeful asshole who will strike you down, right? He's mean and he's wrathful. And, I mean, yeah, he loves you too. But, right? And that, it's not the same view.
Is that I have to be cruel to be kind? Up north.
Kinda. It's really more of a, he's not my friend, he's not my buddy. He really does take on more of a father role, and he's strict. And yeah, if you're a bad little boy, you're gonna get punished. So that, yes. So there's a lot of heaviness that I think comes with that for people sometimes. And then culturally, there's just this ingrained thing of like, I have to be sorry for things that I did.
Well, how does this make them feel right in what they're doing?
See, I don't know that it does. Part of it is learned behavior. That, which is wild, right? It is literally a learned behavior. I do it because my mother did it, because her mother did it, because her mother did it. And this is just how it is.
So what?
It is
If I,
a
so
cycle.
are you trying to say if I go back into time and like pull Fran Chester out of her crib and move her to the South, she'll have her hair jacked to Jesus?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm serious. It's a cycle of guilt. Okay. And then on the other hand, I think it is, honest to God, because of that whole idea of the pearly gates and, you know, your sins being weighed, right? Remember, we're also told if you confess, you will be forgiven. So the guilt is sort of a way of like, well, I got to constantly remind myself so I don't forget that I did this thing. So when I die and I get to the gates, I remember to tell him, and I'm very sorry, and I'm confessing this, and we're good,
and
right? I'll be let in now. We cool? We cool? We good? Yeah.
So not being Catholic. So even after confession, y'all still get the required to carry that guilt.
We still do it. It's not that we're required to. We just do. We just do.
I thought giving confession was supposed to alleviate guilt.
It is, but anyone who tells you that it fully does is full of shit. It very few people actually feel that. Me personally, I have never left a confessional and gone, whoo!
Now, let me ask on the
I feel light. Never.
No, wait. Now, on the flip side of that, you go to see one of our priests or priestesses in the same thing, doing
Totally
the same thing.
Different.
What's
Totally
the outcome?
Different. Totally different. Because the difference is, right, I am literally told, and it's ironic, because I'm basically told, first of all, you've done the work. You've acknowledged the thing. You have taken measures to change the thing, right? You know, let it go. Now it's time to let it go and put what you learned into practice.
It's time to use that secrecy part.
Yes. Now here's this is part of where I think it's a flawed system, right? On the other side. You go to confession, you confess this thing that you've done, but you are given penance. So the minute you leave, right, the thing that is supposed to clear you, right, you're back to zero. Your shit count is, you wipe the board.
Right.
Okay?
Okay, I'm with you.
But go back to your seat and now do this punishment for what you did. How the fuck are you supposed to let go of the guilt? It's still right there with you. You're still, like, right, it's still living. You're feeding it.
Do you think these people become addicted to the guilt?
Yes, it's like a blanket. It's like a nice warm blankie that I have to tuck myself into at night like a burrito.
Right.
Yeah.
So now I get to sit here, be sarcastic and mean, and keep everybody at arm's distance from me.
Yeah.
And that way I will never be hurt or disappointed or be able to put any more guilt.
Yeah. I mean, it's the idea of, right, hurt people. It's that kind of thing. And we think that, feeling bad for long periods of time is somehow supposed to make us better people. So when somebody is fa la 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 la, oh, you're too happy. What do you have to feel guilty about? Right? And that, so
what's that saying? There's nothing so good that a little bit of guilt won't make you feel bad.
Guess.
There's nothing so bad that a little bit of guilt won't make you feel worse.
Yeah. It's wild. It's wild. I'm telling you. And look, and granted, this is just my perspective, but I saw this in too many members of my family. Now, I suspect, but again, I could be wrong. I suspect that it was a little different for men. Because again, men are a little more willing to just let shit go.
Yeah.
They typically do a better job of that. Women don't let shit go. Not easily. So they would hold it for far longer than necessary.
I could see where guys could easily go, me do task, go sit in box, tell bad stuff, go do prayers.
Yes.
Now I'm done. Let's go watch the game.
Yes. Exactly. They're just able to kind of let it lie. In so many instances, I mean, people, in some of these cultures feel bad.
I gotta ask. Is this because the Catholic Church is more male dominated that they do this way because it's more catered to men versus women?
No, I don't think so.
But do you see what I'm saying? The whole confessional thing, the whole process. And then when they introduced women into it, they didn't realize you were going to have this guilt complex because of the way women do things versus the way men do.
I don't know that women were ever barred from practicing, though, in the early days even. I don't think they were... It wasn't like a mosque, where women aren't even... allowed in, which I'm like, whoa, what?
But I mean, at this time, were women still not at the back of the church and all the men at the front?
I don't think it was ever like that with Catholicism. I could be wrong, but I don't think that in Europe that was a practice. I think that was more of a Puritan thing.
Okay.
That was something that I believe originated more from the puritanical side. Maybe with England at some point. I don't know. Yeah.
It just brings it up. It makes me wonder if it was was created because we just sat here and said it's so easy for men to go through this.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I probably really have to spend some time and or research that. I know, like, one of my favorite, I mean, this is off topic a little, but one of my favorite religious paintings from the Catholic faith actually belongs to the Orthodox Greeks. And it is a painting called The Dormition of Mary. And you go, she's dormant? It's her funeral. When you really look at the painting and you get the gist of what's going on, it is they're acknowledging the death of Mary, the Mother of God. But they're not calling it a death. They are literally saying, we opened a box, we asked her very nicely to get in, and then we shut the lid. And then Jesus sat on top of it because we put him above her. So we honor her. He couldn't have happened without her, and we know this, but we'll be damned if we're going to put her on the same level as him.
But at one point in Catholicism, she was referred to as the Queen of Heaven.
I know that. She's referred to that way in many ways. Yeah. But the fear was if we place her, right? If we do that, we have made a female god. We have made a can't have that now, can we?
No.
Yeah. So that was a way to kind of scooch her under the rug, which I was like fascinated with that. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? And here are the Greeks just very, very slyly going, yeah, well, you know. And they acknowledge her a lot more than some of the other areas of the very, you know, staunch Catholic. Yeah, it's interesting. It's really interesting to see.
I find this all fascinating.
Oh, it is.
I was never Southern Baptist or nothing like this whatsoever.
I know. I'm telling you, it's why it was always so bizarre to me that I was like, what do you mean? Like, how in the holy crap how is your God so nice? I was like, who is this guy?
No, our God's nice, but our pastor's
God's great. Pastor's a dick. So yeah, I don't know. We meandered. We went all kinds of places.
I'm not sure if we ever answered the question because there is no such thing as a right.
I had to go back and just look up what the hell we were even talking about because we went so many places. Maybe I had too much coffee.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Let's go back for more and find out.
Oh, crap. Yay. Well, I just found something interesting. So, looking at Lord Knight's topics for episode ideas, and I come across, is beauty narcissistic or a connection to the divine? Discuss.
Well,
Here's
my thought. You hear the majority of the time for someone to be wise or whatever, they seem to have to be old and ugly.
Sometimes.
Are you with me?
But not always. Yeah, I am.
There is this connection about non-beauty. Because again, my thought is if you're beautiful, you're going around. That's all people are talking about. That's all they're ignoring anything else about you.
But is that not a more modern idea?
That's sort of what I'm asking.
The Greeks didn't believe that.
No.
Right? The Greek gods were gorgeous.
Yes.
They were all the epitome of beauty. So were the Romans. I think even the Norse to some extent. Some of their gods are a little bit fugglier, but that's okay. But a lot of them were still defined, right, by their standards of beauty.
Right.
Based on that culture. In African cultures, right, we always see the goddesses being depicted as very heavy set and very large. And because, again, that was a sign of wealth, of fertility. That was beautiful.
Right. The oversized hip, the oversized bosom.
Right. That meant you were top of the chain, man. You had abundance.
So let me ask you. So when we're sitting here and we're looking at our society now, and we look at that top 10 of society, the top men and women, do they actually have a harder time being more spiritual than us because of their status in society?
Shit. I mean...
But you see what I'm asking to some extent.
I do, but...
Because in society, we do tend subconsciously to let people that are attractive get away with more.
Oh, yeah. Oh, there's no doubt about that. But that's the thing. Is this a discussion about society or is it a discussion about religion? Because when we look at religion, look at the cathedrals that we build. Look at these elaborate church structures. They're gorgeous. They're beautiful. The architecture, the artwork, the stained glass.
But the church, but the church itself is never going to get an ego over being told how beautiful it is over and over again.
Correct. It's not, but the people do.
Yeah.
How could the people not look at their beautiful monument, right, to God, and then look at somebody else's tiny little shack and go, no, ours, we clearly love God more because we made this. That's an interesting idea. Now, I mean, on one hand, we know that no, that's not fair. That's not realistic. The people in the shack could be far more faith-driven than the people in the cathedral.
But yet we hear stories from the Middle Ages and stuff like that where priests would look at these beautiful women, pray that your beauty fades fast so you can better serve God.
But is that not because they attracted the attentions
That's what I'm talking about.
of
Because
men,
right.
and therefore there was the ability for them to be led away from God?
To be led astray.
Yeah, yeah.
So again, I keep on seeing this in religion where this keeps on coming up, that to become wise, one must wait for their beauty to fade.
Right.
To be this.
Part of that's humility.
Right.
Right? We don't get humble till we get older. Humility is not for the young. The young are right. They're full of pride and brag and
piss and vinegar.
Yeah. And why wouldn't they be? And as we get older and we have not only the life experience and we've dealt with failure and triumph, when our bodies start to break down more, our skin isn't as perky as it used to be. I mean, all those things
don't fly back like they used to.
Yeah. Of course we start to go, ha ha ha, you just wait. But yes, what happens? I mean, older folks always end up finding themselves turning more to faith. Not just because they have more time on their hands to dedicate to it or because they make it more of a priority, but also because,
they've gained the wisdom to realize how important it is.
But also they're closer to death.
True.
And that plays a big factor. The more people become aware of their mortality, the more spiritually wise they seek to become. And, I mean, there's a reason why when we think about church functions, we think about all the little old ladies who run the behind the scenes of the church function, because they're the ones holding that shit up. So yeah, that makes a tremendous amount of sense. Look, a great example of this, Lady Santana. Have we ever talked about her past? Have we ever talked about some of her origin story?
I think we've vaguely spoke about this.
So, Lady Santana of Ravenwood, the founding mother of Ravenwood, the House of Old Religion out of Atlanta, Georgia, she was a burlesque dancer prior to joining.
Well, let's put some context here, okay? Mm-hmm. Back when this was happening, burlesque dancers had a little bit more clout.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
These were not the...
It was classy. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to take away from that.
This isn't like going down to leather and lace.
No. We're not talking about a strip club. She was a burlesque performer, right? This was dance. This was theater. This was, right? Burlesque is its own art. But she was gorgeous.
Yes.
Lady Santana was a looker. She would stop a room dead, male or female.
Hey, I'm gay. Even I'd stop and look.
Exactly. And I think that was one of the things that both simultaneously made some of her challenges with Ravenwood take place. On one hand, she was too pretty to be a witch, right?
Right.
She was too good looking to want all this authority, or this, to be doing all of these things, to be lobbying, to be taking on politicians, to be taking on local real estate boards, right? And on the other, sometimes she could use her looks to get her way and to be, to just, I mean, for lack of a better way to put it, to just kind of, convince people to do what she wanted.
Yes. Yeah. She was using her sex appeal to...
Absolutely. So that's kind of interesting, but I do think a lot of her status, again, it came later in life. It came once she no longer had the physique of the burlesque dancer that she was in her younger age. So, yeah, interesting. But this idea, though, that the divine
requires you to be old and ugly, or
no. Yeah, that's wild. Because we can't see it both ways. How can we possibly see the divine as being all the things that represent beauty in nature, but then what? We're supposed to be all gnarly and icky and...
Well, again, but in our belief, we don't see it as youngful versus oldful.
True.
All right. We see it as more as not experiencing, gaining experience.
Yes.
Our elders to us ain't ugly. They are pillars of wisdom and knowledge.
Correct.
But yet, I see in other religions and cultures, they don't quite do the same way.
Yeah. That can, I mean, yes. I mean, we definitely still have age bias.
Mm-hmm.
Ageism is a very real thing, be it in the workplace. You know, once you're over the age of 50, it can be very hard to find new employment,
Yes.
to change careers, to change jobs, right? People don't want to take
Especially
a risk.
especially when you're 50 and you're doing a laborer's job.
Or if
it becomes even harder.
God help you if it's tech,
Yeah.
right? Because then they're like, oh, I don't know if he can keep up. You know, it's crap. And then we certainly see it with society as a whole. Old people are, in our culture, they're kind of ignored, right? They're
Well, no, let me ask you this. In all this case, does this mean that we take younger people less serious?
typically, yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I see these younger YouTubers and all that.
Yeah.
I'll admit, I don't always take them quite as seriously as I would if I was...
They don't come with the credibility, but that's not necessarily a beauty thing. That's just
It's time.
age.
Yeah.
Age and time, right? Their
Right.
experience. I mean, that's...
And you can't hold that against them. There's nothing they can do about
No,
that.
it would be really difficult to see someone very, very young take up a very big place of power and not have a moment of,
Right.
Because where did this authority come from? And where did they gain their knowledge, their skill, their understanding? Like, and again, when we look at religion, that's where they're cult leaders, right? Because they're
Yeah.
very charismatic, but is it necessarily true? That's a tough one. At the same time, you know, Jesus was fairly young, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't an old fart, which...
What was he, 33?
No, he was 33. If I'm correct, he was 33 when he went into the desert and when he fought the devil.
Okay.
And he went on his
It was like 12,
pilgrimage, yeah.
12 years old, he disappeared, and then he comes back at...
13, or he disappeared at 13, I think, came back at 14, and then, it happens again in his older life, and then I want to say he was in his 40s.
Yeah.
He was a relatively young guy.
I mean, because life expectancy back then was not very high either.
No, that's true. That's actually also really a good point.
Because life expectancy maybe, 60?
Probably.
If you're lucky.
Yeah, if that. So who knows? Maybe he was considered older. But certainly today, the way we view him, he wasn't an old guy.
No.
And then we think about, I mean, a lot of our depictions, though, right? Again, a lot of the gods are young, but it never seems to fail that, much like the story of the narcissist and looking at himself in the pool, right?
Right.
Narcissus, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can tell Greek's not our field.
No. I mean, I know the names. I just don't always remember, all the little details. But he, he looked into the pool and he became so enamored with himself that he basically didn't move forever.
Right.
But those sorts of stories, it never seems to fail, right? The gods in those stories are always very young and naive. Yeah.
Go figure.
Even the story of Persephone, to some extent, she's kind of depicted...
Being a little airhead.
A little bit. Like, oh, okay, I'll just go down here into hell with Hades. All right, because... What?
And I'm not going to eat anything, but these 7 seeds don't count.
Yeah, she didn't put up a fight, really.
No.
Not much of one, anyhow. So yeah, I don't know. It's
an interesting question.
It is. But I do think most of us, from a religious standpoint, we try to surround ourselves with things that represent our faith in a beautiful way.
Yes.
Which, that makes sense to me.
All right.
That's one for folks to ponder.
Since it's so hot, do you want to do coffee-flavored ice cream?
Yeah. Oh, coffee-flavored ice cream.
Ooh.
What?
Huh?
Where's the spoon?
Thanks for listening. Join us next week for another episode. Pagan Coffee Talk is brought to you by Life Temple and Seminary. Please visit us at lifetempleseminary.org for more information, as well as links to our social media: Facebook, Discord, Twitter, YouTube, and Reddit.
We travel down this trodden path, a maze of stone and mire. Just hold my hand as we pass by a sea of blazing pyres. And so it is the end of our days, so walk with me till morning breaks. And so it is the end of our days, so walk with me till morning